Sherry from Montana. Sherry, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I have a little bit of both, actually. I don't have an open CPS case at this time, but last year, it had started last year in July. My 3 kids got taken away, and a lot of my rights had got violated. And I mean, it was like my rights from, I never got like my FEM meeting to my religious rights, to just everything, every kind of right that you could think of got violated with the CPS worker. I had fought for 4.5 months in the court system before the judge was just like, you know, this family deserves to have their kids back. And when I finally got the kids back, 2 of them, they're teenagers, and then my other one was 10. The 10-year-old, he didn't get treated very well. They got put with their aunt. Anyway, they, like, all of the rules, the house rules and stuff, she didn't follow. I mean, it was really bad. The social worker, or CPS worker, had ended up giving, like, my sister their social security numbers, birth certificates, like all of this stuff, all the medical records after I told her not that I didn't want them. I never, not once, lost my rights, like, ever. Anyway, my daughter, or my 2 oldest girls, disappeared from the courthouse. My sister had helped them plan to run away if, you know, it was just a really horrible situation. And so still in CPS custody, they had come up missing. One of them, a couple months later, ended up coming back, but the other one is still missing. While being in CPS custody, both of my children, one just turned 18 now, so she's whatever, but my 15-year-old, she was 14 at the time, they were drinking. They started, my 14-year-old, she started vaping. She also started drinking. She also started, she had tried drugs, and all of this other stuff. I mean, it was just really horrible. She was back at home, and she's also now ran away again. And just like a whole downward spiral of the CPS. The supervisor of the caseworker that I had, she ended up taking over the case because of everything that this other CPS worker was doing. And it was because of her that I finally got my youngest guy back. But during even the visitation, like, it was horrible. Like, the visitation, I mean, just everything. It was like everything was like stacked against us, you know, like, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. And, you know, they were just kind of like making us out to be these like really horrible people when there was like nothing that was wrong. I mean, we even had like our family doctor, the therapist that had been seeing my daughter, and like all of these people that were going to testify for us that there was never any signs of child abuse ever in our family. And anyway, after the case had got dismissed, the supervisor had told me that she was using our case of what not to do. That's how bad our case was, because so many things were just like horrible. And I guess one of the questions that I have is the civil rights lawsuit. My husband and I have been talking about like something like that for quite a while now. But I have called like 5 or 6 attorneys in my area, and none of them ever call me back. So is there something that I can do with that process that would be?
Which would be what?
That could help me in that circumstance. Like, it's really horrible that like all of our rights have gotten so badly taken away from us, you know. And it's like even still today, like there's still stuff that's been going on. And it's been since, well, we got our kids back in November of last year. So, I mean, it's been quite a while, but even today, there's things like going on. I mean, it's like somehow like in the hospital, like my sister had got, you know, like me off of being the guardian of my daughter and got her on somehow. And the hospitals had told me when I had called, well, she needs to be here because you're not. And I'm like, no, I'm legal guardian, you know, and
so I have a little help that can help you with you said that you can't get any attorneys to call you back.
Yeah.
So you just keep calling. You keep calling. We had a host on the show prior. She called 50 different attorneys. I called 25 before I got someone that would talk to me. It's my favorite word. You have to be relentless when it comes to this. You cannot give up. You call. You say, okay, I'm going to call 5 different ones today. And then throughout the day, you call 5 people. You email them as well. And the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You just keep going until you find somebody who's willing to look at your case. But I have kind of a question for Mr. Davis. Do children have the opportunity to sue DCFS if they're taken from a good home and put into a bad home, or do they have to wait until they're older?
No, they can sue. They need to sue through what's called in California guardian ad litem, or they can wait until they're older. They turn 18. I think in California they have 2 years to bring a lawsuit, but they can bring a lawsuit.
Because I didn't know if it was, you know, with the law, because these children are the ones that are being damaged the most. You know, as parents, yes, our rights are being damaged, our hearts and stuff. But she was talking about how her children are running away because they don't want to be there. Can they just, you know, they would rather them be put into a different home and like the damage that it's done. So I didn't know if children have rights to be able to sue as well, because that's something that I would pursue for my own child.
Right.
If I was going through what she was going through.
They do. But Sherry, it seems that the story Sherry was telling us was that the kids didn't want to come home to her. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right after they got the taste of, you know, because we're in a pretty strict household, you know, no boys, no, I have to meet their friends' parents before they go out. I mean, it's not like. So
you're a good parent. You're doing parent stuff, right?
Exactly. And that's one thing that like the visitation center and stuff is like, oh no, kids need to like basically rule you, you know, and I was even told by them that, I need to let my children lie to me and be okay with it. And I'm like, no, I don't. You know, that's not how, you know, my children are raised. My children are raised not to lie, you know, and I mean, there's just like a lot of stuff. And it's like my sister had let them do like everything, you know, like I said, they got to drink and they got into drugs and they got into like a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's horrible. Like, I'm just totally heartbroken.
2 minutes.
You know, my children are my babies. And, it's heartbreaking to me because I tried everything to keep them away from this stuff, you know? Right. And, now it's just like with my 15-year-old, she's 15 now, but with my 15-year-old, because we're too strict. And I had found a letter from her that I'm too strict and she wants to kill me and her dad because we won't let her do anything. And, you know, and then the day that she ran away, you know, we ended up finding a pot pipe in her room. And, you know, that's why she ran away, was because we had found vapes and she knew we were going to find the pipe. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and so it's really bad.
Teenage girls are awful to begin with. Teenage girls are horrible. I mean,
oh yeah,
when they're like 14, 15, 16, oh my God, you know, they're very emotional.
Have you considered family counseling at all?
No, we have. We went into family counseling, and like through all of this, and that was the one big thing that, you know, even before like the CPS or whatever, you know, of course, you know, family counseling could have, you know, been needed, but yeah, we went through family counseling and, but
I have an idea.
1 minute.
Hold on a second, you guys. Sherry, I want to thank you for calling and thank you for listening. We got to take some commercial breaks right now. You know, call us back in about 3 or 4 weeks and give us an update, okay? This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. We'll be right back after these messages.